I'm a father, you know, and a husband. It's different for a lot of people, you know, especially like whatever culture you come from and whatever you have to deal with in your past, you know, traumas or whatever. But first and foremost, my path has led me to be a father and a husband, and then like that's in every aspect of the word. So I'm a builder when I need to be a builder. I'm a psychiatrist when I need to be a psychiatrist. I'm a teacher when I have to be a teacher, you know what I'm saying? And it all has to come from a place of love. So, right now, a father and a husband, building towards whatever that amalgamates to, whatever that, you know, wherever the end of this road takes me.
Mother, wife, a homesteader, and a scholar. Those are things that I do in terms of who I am, but in terms of how I am, I'm a truth seeker. A clarifier. I'm a provider, a nurturer, a fighter, and a lover.
The consensus, you know, the general consensus is to find somebody that can do it. You know, everything is a panic. Everything was, you know, like finding the money and finding the talent, you know, for every aspect of my life, you know, having to depend on people all the time, with outsourcing, like, you know, it was never really a strong suit of mine because that wasn't how I was raised, you know, like yeah. It was like having to depend, like you had to make your own way. Like growing up, it was just like you had to make your own way. No matter if we had it or we didn't have it, it was like, well, you're not just gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was always like, hey man, if you're not, like, if you're just looking for an easy, here you go, a little handout, you can forget about it, you know? And, but as I got older, it's like, the consensus is be more dependent. Be dependent to have your kids, you know, taken care of, because you need more time to take care of what? Work, right? To get more money, to outsource all of these things, because if your car breaks down, you can't go to work, you can't this, that, you can't drop your kids off at school, then all these problems happen, and so you need more money to outsource, and then on top of that, you want to take vacations and shit. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I was tired of working for nothing and being forced to depend on people, you know.
The kids more than anything. You know, having them puts a lot of things in perspective in terms of what you're doing from day to day, and also long term, like what you're prepared for. And the way things were going before, it would have worked, but, you know, mentally it would have been a different person. I wouldn't have been as available for them, and I wanted to see if there was a way for me to live, connect with my family, and connect with nature. And I think that was the biggest motivator to start homesteading and living off-grid. I've definitely sacrificed comfort to a certain degree, you know?
Yeah.
Because I did expect myself to give up certain comforts, but I didn't know how deeply I would fight against certain comforts. You know, like not being able to rest fully, or in a way that I would if I were living out in the city. You know, like I have to be engaged 24/7, or at least until the girls go to sleep. So yeah, and then we got the animals now too. So it's like I really had to question what I was trying to do here. Was I trying to bring that comfort from the city and create a replica, or was I trying to feel the comforts and also embrace this new lifestyle? There are things that I had to let go, you know, certain expectations, certain comforts. So those are things that I had to sacrifice.
Willingly sacrifice this connections. People, really friends, family. Haven't been very social in the past couple of years, is because, you know, it takes a certain amount of focus to get certain things done. You know what I'm saying? And on the type of scale this plan is, or whatever the journey, whatever the case may be, like this is not just myself. This is me, you, my wife, you know, my kids, and it's about building for the future, not just, you know, like future down the line, not just next week, next month. So the logistics behind that is like right here. So there's not a lot of time that you can break to do a lot of the things that you're comfortable doing, you know, or used to, or just want to do, really. And not everybody's doing the same thing as you. So you can't ask them to drop, you know, the good life or whatever the case may be, or even just chilling in general, to do what you're doing, because it really might not even make sense. You know what I'm saying? So, because that's exactly what you was doing before. You had this dream or this plan or this journey. It's taking us far from home, you know? But at the end of the day, as far as it takes us, and as quiet as it gets, you know, I know at some point, like, the reason for this is not for it to be silent and to get away from everybody, but it's that, you know, it's to have those connections in a safe and chill environment that we know we're gonna have. And, you know, for everybody, really. I've never been faced with so many situations where it didn't go my way, or go the way that I planned, or go like, or even begin the way that I planned, you know what I'm saying? So there's humility with that, you know, and makes you more aware of how reactive you are. So I guess from the amount I used to react before, and the amount I'm reacting now, like things break now. Things break, and that's my reaction to it. It's like, figure it out. Fix it eventually, you know, or buy a new one if at the very, you know, at the very, 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 very end, buy another fuck it. Can't be, you know, bothered with that too much in life.
I thought I was a morning person until I became the only person in the morning. You know, you were at work, so I couldn't be that morning person that I wanted to be at 10 o'clock. Things had to be done already, you know. So I noticed personality changes. It's not so much as changing my habits that I've noticed. It's changing my motivation and inspiration, you know. It's reprogramming what I use to tell myself to get up early in the morning. It's not all because I have to and the kids are away, blah, blah, blah. Or when I have a fun day, it's like things need to be taken care of. This is a living place. It's an organism, and it shows if you neglect it. So I really had to change what I told myself about why I was doing something. Then I've also noticed that we're a lot closer as a family, you know? Like, it's given us a lot of time to deal with the quirks and the quarrels that we have. You know, it's not just distracted by the next activity we're gonna do, or, you know, the next work shift that we gotta prepare for at night. It's like, yeah, you just hurt my feelings, and I'm sitting right here, we have nothing else to do, what are we gonna do about it? You know, and sometimes it doesn't get solved right there, but eventually there always comes a point where we become more self-aware and we question ourselves a lot more.
I would tell myself that tomorrow isn't the last day. Like the telephone game, you know, you start it, and by the end it's something different, you know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of things that I try to teach or I foresee or whatever, like I think it's gonna happen tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? Like I think the traumatizing effects of every spanking that I give and every situation that the kids do that are wrong or whatever the case may be, like I think the effects will be felt and they will manifest themselves tomorrow, you know? And I think that there may a disservice in the long run. You know? So yeah, that's what I tell myself. Hey, tomorrow is not the last day.